Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Richard Branson, Gautam Adani. What do these wildly successful people have in common?
What if I told you that every single day kids go to school, they become less intelligent?
There's no need even to have a college degree at all, or even high school. I mean, obviously, we just look at Gates is a pretty smart guy, he dropped down. Jobs is pretty smart, he dropped down.
It's not just their billions or global influence, it's that they escaped a trap, one that you and I were told to proudly walk into. A system that promised success, but silently kills dreams. A system where 15 years of studying can still leave you jobless, broke, and invisible. Let's be honest, how many people around you spent their youth chasing a degree, only to end up in a job they hate, or worse, no job at all? Meanwhile, the world's richest didn't play by the rules. They questioned them. You see, the real trap isn't unemployment. It's believing that the only way to succeed is to follow rules created over 200 years ago. Why does this system still exist? Who built it? And what if the very purpose of school was never to help you succeed? Let's uncover the truth together.
I left school at 16 with no qualifications and no money, and hardly anyone believed in me, especially my teachers, and start my own business. It felt like a big risk, but I went for it. 35 years later, I run 2 multi-million-dollar businesses. I've grossed over $70 million and have the house of my dreams.
We're told, study hard, get a degree, and life will reward you. But for millions, that dream becomes a nightmare. You spend years memorizing facts you'll never use, chasing grades you barely care about, and sacrificing your passions, all for a piece of paper with your name on it. You silence your doubts, follow every rule, attend every class, complete every assignment. Then reality hits. You graduate, and no one wants to hire you. You send out resumes, sit through interviews, get ghosted, rejected, humiliated. You start to believe maybe you're the problem. Family and friends stop calling. Relatives mock you. Your confidence collapses. You avoid social gatherings just to skip the question. Somehow, after 15 years of education, you're still broke. And now you're in debt too. So what do? You settle for any job you can get. Low pay, zero passion, just survival. And worst of all, you start to believe this is normal. Where did this system even come from? Let's rewind to 1806. Prussia, home to one of the world's most disciplined armies, loses a shocking war against Napoleon, not because they lacked strength, but because their soldiers dared to think independently on the battlefield. To make sure this never happened again, Prussian leaders designed something terrifying, an education system meant to crush independent thought. Children were placed into schools not to be educated, but to be trained, conditioned to obey, shaped to follow instructions without question. From age 5 to 13, students were told what to think, when to speak, and how to behave. Creativity, discouraged. Curiosity, punished. The goal, create perfect workers and soldiers, obedient, replaceable, compliant. And then the British imported this same model to India. In 1835, Lord Macaulay proposed an education system to create a new class of Indians. Indian in blood, but English in taste, morals, and intellect. It was never about empowerment, it was about control, and it worked. The system turned generations into clerks, laborers, soldiers, trained not to dream, but to obey. The worst part, almost 200 years later, the same outdated blueprint is still running in our schools today, just with Wi-Fi. While the education system was being weaponized, something else was happening. The Industrial Revolution. Machines were replacing human labor. Factories were booming. But there was a problem. There weren't enough workers. People still farmed, ran family businesses, created things with their hands. They didn't want to leave their land just to be a cog in someone else's machine. So the system found its next mission, to produce factory workers. And what better tool than school? Kids were trained to sit in rows, follow bells, take orders, and never question the system, just like they would in a factory. The goal wasn't education, it was conditioning. A mind that once dreamed of flying, now only feared failing. And it didn't stop there. This factory model school spread across the globe. Governments and corporations embraced it, not to nurture leaders, but to manufacture obedient employees who'd never rebel, never innovate, never disrupt. You think it's a coincidence that we spend over a decade in school only to chase a job where we follow someone else's dreams? It's not. This was never about your potential. It was always about your utility. And today, most people are still trapped, living a life designed to make them useful, but never powerful. So what now? You can keep following the script, study, graduate, struggle, settle, survive, or you can rewrite your story, because today, you don't need permission to learn. You need curiosity, courage, and connection. Skills matter more than degrees. Creativity beats compliance, and the internet is your new classroom. Don't chase a job. Build a life. Invest in skills, not just syllabi. Build something. Question everything. You weren't born to obey. You were born to create. This is your moment. Break the trap.